Hi guys, Eugene here today with the Mammoth Belt Squat. Now this has been one of my favorite pieces of equipment for the last year and is a staple of my leg day, but a few things aren't perfect about it out of the box. For example, it's a little clunky to store, it can be a little cumbersome to set up and put away, and most notably, it doesn't have handles out of the box. Now, most of you probably set your belt squat up like this. You have it attached to one of the uprights of your rack, and then load up your weights, connect your belt, and do your movements. Now, the community has come up with a lot of solutions to set up handles for the belt squat. Kyle from Kaizen DIY recently put out a video himself where he uses a combination of handles and a safety spotter attached to the same upright to set up some handles. But I think I've got an even more clever solution to take care of both having handles, having almost no setup time, and a convenient way to store your Mammoth Belt Squat. And the solution is to use a center upright in your rack. So let me show you how to do that. Now, depending on your rack setup, this might look a little bit different for you. The first thing that you need to do is set up one of your cross members either near the bottom of your rack so that you can attach some kind of a center upright setup to it pointing up, or potentially set something up in the middle or a little bit higher in your rack and have something going down. If your rack has one of those cross member braces that convex, that may also work. And here, instead of actual uprights, you can see I'm using a couple of extra stabilizer feet that I've had in the parts bin. Now you might also be asking yourself, why are there two of them? So, depending on the width of your rack, the number of holes you may have here will be different. So in my case, I couldn't use just one hole because it would be off center, because this takes up 4 holes and I have an odd number of holes here, with this being the center hole, and I'm just a little too OCD to have my center set up off center. So if you count the number of holes and how your uprights mount, for you, the best solution may be to just use one center upright and mount your Mammoth Belt Squat directly to it, like so. Now that you've got your center upright setup in place, if you have a setup similar like mine, where you have to use 2 uprights, what you will need is a band peg that's pretty long, like this one here. Now my rack came with these, and it worked out great because I don't really have to get any additional stuff. So let me show you how to set it up. Now that our belt squat is mounted on the center upright, we can easily stow it away. All we do is put up the kickstand, flip it up, and as you can see, I got this chain set up here where I can just clip it in, and then the chain will help keep it in place and make sure it doesn't fall. Now, as an additional precaution, unique to my setup, I have some additional holes here, and I can set up this additional band peg there as a pin to prevent the belt squat from tipping forward. So now between the chain and the band peg holding it back, this thing isn't going anywhere when it's not in use. Now when I want to do my belt squats, all I have to do is pop out this band peg, which acts as my safety pin. I'll undo my chain. And we are ready to go. And you may be saying, well, that's great, Eugene, but what about those handles you promised? Well, let me show you. Now that we've got the belt squat in the middle of the rack, we can take advantage of the rack itself to set up our handles. So I like to use my safety spotters because of the size of my rack, and I put my safety spotters in the middle uprights. Then I simply take these same band pegs, and now I have an array of holes where I can choose to set up my handle, and I can easily change the height by changing the height of the safety spotters. Now for me, I like to use this hole here, which is about hole number 3. This may be different for you, so depending on your rack depth and how you're set up, for you, it might make more sense to put the safety spotters on the outside of the rack if you have a more shallow or 4-post rack, or if you have a deeper rack with one of those curved braces, then it may make more sense to be a bit deeper. But because you have so many options for where to put your handles, you can make it work for just about any kind of a rack setup. Again, the one thing you do need is to set up that center upright configuration of some kind in the back of your rack. So let's see what doing the exercise looks like now. And we can clip in, put up the kickstand, grab our handles, and do our movement with the comfort of having nice, stable handles to grab on while we do our belt squats. Now, one more recommendation I have is if you're doing this sort of a setup with 2 uprights and the belt squat in the middle, is to get some of these collars for your band peg. Depending on the size of the holes in your rack, you may need to get a different one. Mine has 5/8 size holes, and the right size of the collar to actually get is the 11/16 one, because these band pegs are actually larger than 5/8, but the 11/16 size fits them pretty well, and it's all locked in. So this peg cannot slide out anymore once this has been torqued down, and this one here prevents the belt squat itself from sliding around. Probably add one more here if I notice the belt squat trying to slide left, but I only ordered 2, and I'll throw a link up to those on the description. If you guys liked the video, please drop me a like and a subscribe. I know it's a huge cliche on YouTube, but it does help out with the YouTube algorithm. Thanks again for watching the video.